So, local sports teams, eh?
Oh, message from Fran.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's it say?
Och, I the new. I have left you something. Please forgive me.
In this episode, Toby opens a door to the past as he takes a look at the reimagined point-and-click classic, Shadowgate. We inject new life into some old games as we chat about the recent crop of reboots and remasters. And Peter, as the new kid at school, is left all of a flutter as he gets reacquainted with everyone's favourite avian love story, Hatoful Boyfriend.
Hello and welcome to The Kilobits, where we are joined with, of course, Toby. And,
hello.
Mail order Pete.
Yes, don't send people in the post.
I was going to say, mail order Pete, are we marrying him or employing him to be Fran 2.0?
Are we going to have to fight for this?
Now that Fran's out of beta, I think that everything's working out all right.
I get no word in
I
this.
do love the new character model.
Absolutely.
Wait, are we a Ubisoft show now?
So many
Because we
polygons.
can't render boobs.
Yeah,
Well,
and we're also
except
not
for-
producing for the 360 or the Wii U
Holy
anymore.
shit, look at that segue. Look at that segue. Okay, so Assassin's Creed Rogue is the last, current gen.
Like, talking about generations, I mean, is the Xbox One, is the PlayStation, do you call them current generation yet?
No, they're still next gen.
I mean,
everything
like when I think last generation, I'm still thinking PlayStation 2 and the Xbox.
everything after the GameCube is next gen, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh,
Anything
God.
that can render faces
It's all
is next
retro
gen.
Toby. Toby's just seeing everything in 32-bit and that's it.
Yeah, if you can hide the pixels by slightly squinting, it's next gen.
I rub Vaseline on my CRT.
Oh, in that case, the Xbox One is definitely not next gen.
No, no.
Oh shit, look at that rudeness. But okay, so if we're going to look at the last gen and all the stuff that happened, what was your
Microsoft
game?
fanboy.
What was your game of the last gen? I mean, obviously Dark Souls exists, so that's an easy.
Okay, so Toby's done.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you should genuinely take something from the genuine midpoint, something that's 4.5 years old at this point.
So Dark Souls.
But
Well, Demon Souls.
I think genuinely, with the way that they all opened up at the end towards indie games, obviously to get people more used to it, you're looking at some sort of something that was actually genuinely fun, like Battle Block Theatre, Castle.
No.
Castle Crashers.
Battle Block Theatre was not genuinely fun. It was
Says the guy that
genuinely
bought 3
fun.
copies.
Yeah.
3 copies.
Yeah. Someone needs to just tell me to stop.
No.
And it seems to be the bank.
You get the friends and then you get the games.
First you get the games.
Yes.
Then you get the women.
Okay.
Then you get the power.
But Castle Crashers, best multiplayer, best indie title, best fun.
I don't understand why we have to make the distinction between indie titles and AAA though. Aren't we all just video games underneath? Don't we all bleed red?
I bleed pixels.
Oh god, that's
Isn't that an indie game?
that's a really
Yes,
great
they do.
game. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
That
Okay,
was
brilliant.
That was. I'm proud of you.
Indie games were the swan song of the last generation. That's it. Now they're jumping ship to PS4 and Xbone.
As far as I'm concerned, I
Not
just
really
can't.
the Xbone. Or although to be fair, if indie games are on the Xbone, you wouldn't know with that horrendous user interface.
Yeah. Do you want to play some more Dead Rising 3? Because that's always up there.
To be fair,
Number 1. Tile number 1. Come on.
To be fair, the DLC is the greatest thing in the world. It's
What you mean? Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Hyper Edition EX Plus Alpha.
HD edition.
It's a company making fun of itself.
I love that. It's like Capcom going, right, we need to mention every single one of our franchises because they're not going to be ours anymore.
Quick, remind everyone that they pay 20 quid a year to play the same shit online.
Do you know what got me? The billboards for Mega Man X4. I'm like, Capcom, you're not allowed to mention Mega Man because you've screwed the pooch so often. It's actually just a fucking chew toy.
Mega Man
secretly-
X4 came out 10 years ago.
Secretly, they also released a new Street Fighter 4, alongside making fun of all the new re-releases.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I actually can't fucking believe it. The thing that really, really gets me though is Microsoft. Okay, so we've got no backwards compatibility on these things, and Microsoft, I saw an advert that was for the first time ever, play all 5 Halos on the same console, and I was like, not a selling point.
Yeah.
All you're telling me is that you hate your audience and you want them all to buy all 5 Halos on the same console.
The thing is,
I've already bought them on 3 different consoles.
I guess there's enough people going oh, I really hope this time, even though we've played them all, one of them's going to be slightly different. No,
okay.
it's just a fucking carbon copy of the same game. The biggest mistake for me was the Halo Anniversary Edition, where you could switch between old and new graphics with the touch of a button.
I actually really
there's a
liked
gimmick.
How much people liked it.
Halo got popular because it was the first FPS to really work on a dual analog-stick controller, and the story is garbage.
No, Halo got popular because it's good.
Time Splitters did it first. Properly fun.
Shit. Do we have to get someone who's
No, it didn't.
consistently...
Future Perfect came out 3 years after.
Future Perfect wasn't the first Time Splitters.
No, but Future Perfect was the first one that was Halo.
Oh, no.
Oh, so
it didn't
Halo-
need to be Halo. It was its great shooter in its own.
No. Time Splitters 2 is literally just Rareware executives
You're
who've
talking
moved
about,
over to a new console.
Now we've regressed to last generation, so...
Because that's the last time that video games mattered, Richard.
I don't know, I think you're forgetting Angry Birds.
Welcome, my friends, to Shadowgate.
So, I'm returning to Castle Shadowgate to defeat the evil Warlock Lord in a remake of the 1987 Macintosh classic, Shadowgate. As a huge fan of this NES classic, when the opportunity to review Zojoi's kickstarted remake came along, I jumped at the chance. Set in the same iconic location, Shadowgate follows the story of Jer Kathagar as he explores Castle Shadowgate in an effort to stop the evil Warlock Lord from taking over the world using an ancient and powerful magic. The plot is a good deal more explained than in the original, which dropped you straight in with only a vague description of a wizard and the words "Fare thee well," featuring a beautiful animated introduction which sets the tone for the entire game.
Young Jer Kathagar, soldier of Windermere. Could it not be so much more?
Visually, Shadowgate is something of a masterpiece. In the original Shadowgate, graphics were not possible in the same manner that they are today, and while a good deal of the game's charm and intricacy came from solving puzzles based on the environment, the lack of detail often either undercut the puzzle's complexity or made them nigh on impossible. Now, Shadowgate is rendered in a dark 2D style, which allows us to look into the world of Shadowgate in an entirely new way. The sound, too, has been subject to a massive overhaul. The NES version had some incredible music, and this retro feel can be found again for purists in the options menu. Another thing Shadowgate adds, which would not have been possible in the original, is voice acting, which manages to toe the line between epic fairy tale and fancy nonsense in a way that manages to sound not too silly while talking about some outright weird stuff.
Lakmir was a fool to send a child to do that which even the vaunted Circle of 12 could not.
The puzzles of Shadowgate are just as excellent as they've ever been, although a modern complexity has been added to them, and in some cases the order and layout of the castle has been completely changed. The writing, too, is just as good as ever, with a good deal of text being directly lifted from the original, although Zojoi have clearly taken it upon themselves to continue in the style of the original, as almost everything has a description and a unique way in which to be used with nearly everything else. It's attention to detail like this which stops the game becoming unduly frustrating when a puzzle outright kills you with no warning for doing something wrong. You will be seeing the Grim Reaper a lot in Shadowgate, and more often than not these deaths are charming as opposed to annoying. Just remember to save often, and that death lurks around every turn, and you'll probably enjoy being eaten by sea monsters or burned alive by dragonfire. Advocating saving regularly, though, does imply a certain level of difficulty, and Shadowgate is by no means an easy game. The puzzles can be cryptic at times, and require you to pay attention to the numerous scrolls and books you find lying around, as well as careful observation of your environment. Actually playing the game is where Shadowgate can sometimes fall a little flat. There's a GUI used to perform every action in the game, and while there are shortcut keys and such, you'll end up flailing around sometimes, as you accidentally use objects in the wrong way, or move somewhere that you didn't intend to. They're minor niggles, but the cluttered visuals and unintuitive UI could have been further improved from the original. I get that they had to keep a lot of stuff the same, as it is a remake, but the developers clearly understood that this was an opportunity for improvement in other areas of the game, so why keep these flaws intact too? So, does Behemoth return? Who knows? Maybe you should click on the link below for the full review.
This power the Warlock Lord covets above all else, and he will not stop until he rips every stone from the castle's foundation.
Okay, so in the last, 2 years, we've had just remake
Everything. Everything.
For some reason, apparently, when you release a game on a last-gen console, it needs to be ported up so that you can buy it again for 60
Yeah,
quid.
I mean, we had that Mario 64 remake.
Yeah, Mario Kart remake.
That Mario Kart remake.
That happened. Smash Brothers remake, that's happening.
Okay, here's the thing about sequels. There's a difference between turning The Last of Us into a 60 frames a second movie and making a new Mario Kart.
Like you
To be fair, the only reason they've made Last of Us into a 60 frames per second movie
is because it's going to be a 24 frames a second movie.
That's how you make movies.
No, it's because... I was going to make a Microsoft joke, but it's not as much fun without Fran.
Also, here's a point. It's a PlayStation exclusive.
Oh wow! Did you hear about that? Did you hear about that? Did you hear about that Xbox exclusive?
Which one?
Literally none of them.
Oh man, you see, like, okay, so what other pointless remakes we had? We've had Tomb Raider, like, Definitive Edition. See Lara's new haircut in glorious HD.
Well, I purchased the original release of the Tomb Raider
Yeah, so did I.
on
I loved it.
PC, and I already had fantastic hair. And then I got a PS4.
Oh good, he's talking about physics.
Yeah.
I wish I could afford physics.
Well, they
You
add
mean, you mean that thing that's free with PC stuff?
Great, wish I could afford PC stuff. So, like, well, all of these remakes are happening just too fast, right? Like, do you not feel nearly cheated after you've bought a game for full retail price and then they expect you to buy it 2 years
I
later?
think there are some really great things coming from this. Oddworld New and Tasty.
Yeah, but that's because that remake happened like from a 15-year-old game.
This is
I'm talking about games that came out in the last 2-3 years.
Well, this is people who've gone back and revisited an old game that they made and made it the game that they originally wanted it to be. Now that the technology's caught up.
Kind of like Shadowgate.
A slightly more recent, although not as dramatic, obviously Metro 2033, which we should probably provide a link to because I did quite a good video on that. And that, again, that's a studio going back and revisit, and they've made the game they originally wanted to make. And like Grim Fandango.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, I mean...
Tim Schafer definitely needs more money. Quick, just do another quick... Fuck! It just makes me so angry that I can't talk now. It's just, like, he is not a man who needs to kickstart.
Yeah.
What is this thing we're making? This is insane.
Are there any things that you guys would actually want to see remade, though?
I'm horribly excited for the Resident Evil remake.
Oh, what, you mean the remake that was on GameCube that is now... You see, why don't they do this... Why don't they do this with Twin Snakes? A remake of Metal Gear Solid 1 on the Metal Gear Solid 2 engine. Best ever Metal Gear Solid game.
No,
we have the Fox engine now.
Original Metal Gear on Fox engine, let's do that.
Original Metal... Oh my god, the MSX. Can you imagine climbing out into Mother Base? Just grrrr. That's the noise that the talking is.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s.
They probably put that in new sound.
That was a really salient point.
Thank you.
Right now, John is just editing in text boxes, just like, just of things that I hate. Grrrr.
People.
No, like, okay, so we've actually had some legitimately good shit come out. The PT demo, playable teaser. Hideo Kojima is a genius, clearly. We played that.
Absolutely, all the way through.
You played that.
We've played that, you've watched that.
Yeah, you didn't touch the controller, Toby.
I think it's Toby's turn with the controller.
No, it's not Toby's turn.
I think it's Toby's turn.
No, I refuse. I flat out refuse. I just don't understand all this need for reboots and stuff. I mean, it's not like we don't have a surplus of creative people graduating from university all the time.
What would you like to see rebooted?
Faxanity. That's it. That's just that's my stock answer whenever anyone's like, so we need to reboot a franchise. I'm just like, right, well, the Xanadu games haven't had a hit in a while. Like, I really enjoy it when indie games get remade, like Cave Story and Spelunky. That's always fun. So, you know, maybe...
Cave Story Plus was very good.
Maybe some more of that. What would you guys like to see rebooted?
Let's run Jim.
That would be...
Ooh!
Do you remember his little foray into 3D?
Ooh, yeah!
Did anyone buy
Jim
that?
64.
Yeah.
Really good. Pig surfing for every boss.
The best.
Oh my god, and...
Yeah, I didn't expect that,
And the graphics, just chunks of colour everywhere.
But that's the thing, they were so colourful, and you still had things like the cow launcher, and it was just...
Same comedy, same humour, same level.
So, do you remember, like, it had a gibberish language option, where the plot made no sense anymore?
Oh, you mean like default setting?
A lot like that, yeah. Okay, Peter, what about your...
Well, a reboot that I would love to see is Crash Bandicoot. Naughty Dog sort of handed that over, because Naughty Dog now have their thing. Oh, we make cinematic games.
I could see a cinematic Crash Bandicoot game, running away from polar bears, because, you know, it would be like a Pixar film.
Okay.
They could do a different kind of cinematic. They could stray away from muscular, brown-haired men with stubble. By the way, rocking the Nolan look. It's quite nice. Yeah,
like how Knack was a sort of a
No. See,
yeah, exactly. But good.
Yeah,
you need like dark, gritty survival. I've just had this image of like just Cortex and just like Crash hitting his wall and just punching him till his knuckles, until his knuckles are bloody.
Yeah. Coco's crying in the corner like, Crash, what have you become?
Yeah, quick time events to make
What
sure
are you doing?
What even is a bandicoot? A miserable little pile of fur, but enough talk. Cut.
So I'm back on the dating scene, and I'm sorry ladies, but it's birds I'm interested in, with the Hatoful Boyfriend HD release on Steam.
I briefly played Pigeonation Inc.'s original title last year, but really sank my teeth into the re-release. As you click through the dialogue options in this dating simulator, you will find the narrative laying some pretty heavy backstory on you. While at first you're laughing at the eccentricities of the occupants of St. Pigeonation's Institute, usually questioning how romantically involved you would like to get with them, you learn how it is that you are the only human attending the Institute, and why the birds have human-level intelligence. The cast of characters is heavily derived from the usual and heavily cliched personalities that you will find in most other dating simulators. While this may seem like an uninspired choice, don't count your chickens before they hatch, because familiar characters help keep the complex and mysterious story grounded, and it is easier to empathise with the girl you play as when you can remember that this grey bird is the faithful childhood friend, and that grey bird is the overly friendly psychopath with a short temper. There were a few birds who I was instantly interested in getting closer to, because the writing peppers most characters with very interesting irregularities that you want to get to the bottom of. On my third playthrough, I discovered new story paths to follow that I thought I must have accidentally ignored. As it turns out, romance can spread its wings pretty much anywhere, and there are a few characters who can only become romantic interests after the first playthrough. When the complex, satirical and unusual writing is the strongest aspect of the game, playing for more story branches is definitely rewarding, and it is good to see that a visual novel offers post-game content that is normally expected from completely different game genres. Graphically, there isn't much going on. The next closest experience to playing this game would be reading a novelization of it. So, with that in mind, it is nice to have the simple artwork with which the game is presented. The backgrounds are your usual simple, empty location illustrations, but the game decided to use actual bird photographs for the character avatars, and even for a few important scenes that take place. While it is easy to sink many hours into this game, there really isn't much to be said about the gameplay. You click through dialogue 90% of the time and select conversations for the other 10%. If you're not a fan of reading, then you'd be better off flying the coop, but then you would be missing out. The game spans a school year, allowing you to choose how to spend your time improving the character. For the most part, these stats didn't seem to make much difference in the game, which could be because they're essentially worthless, or because the changes they make are subtle and practically invisible. As you may have expected, the quirkiness of a dating sim with birds is a good initial draw, and the game really delivers on this rather bizarre premise. It looks as good as you'd expect, and I found it funny that they really push the fact that you can experience 1080p pigeon in this HD release, which I feel is the intended response to something so silly. If Hatoful Boyfriend was nothing more than a 1080p bird dating simulator, it would only be worth a short playthrough to a select few weirdos. But the story is so much deeper, darker and more complex than that, leaving me hooked and thoroughly entertained.
And you can find out what every birdie has been up to at the Academy in the full review on the Kilobits channel. There's a link just below here.
So, school's out for summer.
School is completely done with.
Yeah. School's out forever for us. But some people are going back to school.
Which is why there's no games coming out for some reason.
It's before the Christmas rush, isn't it?
Like, all the publishers said, more money is made at Christmas, let's just not do any Q3 releases.
Well, no, see, they kind of are, because what happens is, like, early September, it's literally like 4 releases a day for, like, the entire month, something ridiculous like that.
Are you sure you're not thinking of October?
That's the one I said.
No, you said September.
No, it totally is.
Okay.
I totally said October. So, like, September, this is why Call of Duty is so popular. It's like, if you go an entire month at preschool without doing drugs and stabbing your teacher, we'll buy you the new Call of Duty game. And it's just like irresponsible brands. Because if you notice, like 3/4 of the games coming out in October are 18 rated. and 3/4 of the game out for every current gen, next gen console. They're all 18 rated as well.
To be fair,
It's
though,
like
that's
people
because
just stop caring.
people have grown up with games now, and everyone's over 18 that has the money and the jobs to be able to support their habit.
Or there's 18-year-old parents with 6-year-olds who like playing Call of Duty.
Okay, I think that my view of the world is far less cynical than yours.
I also think mine's far more accurate than yours.
Probably. I mean, we do have to work in this goddamn building all day, every day.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Okay, so Peter, what are you looking forward to for the next couple of weeks?
Well, to be honest, I'm not looking forward to anything other than Smash Brothers.
Isn't that an awful reality to live in?
Yeah.
Isn't that awful?
Well, you've got Alien Isolation.
Well, I'm terrified of PT, and I'm not touching another scary game for a few years.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have to worry about that with Alien Isolation.
Oh, come on, I was terrified of it.
Oh yeah, no. Where we played the demo, you could count down to the alien appearing. It was less a jump scare, more of a like a how-to horror.
Oh, you just watched the doc, do you?
It was like losing your virginity. You're just like 3, 2, 1, oh.
So you've got guns now. So there's the elements of shooting them.
Sorry, though.
Okay. As far as I'm concerned, the only thing that I'll still be playing is, well, I've got another Dark Souls 2 DLC. I've not played the second one yet. I know that, like, this has been a real buffet month for me.
Are you going to be playing these and screening them on a Sunday?
Wow, it's almost like you can watch them by clicking below.
Gosh and golly.
Actually, who knows where the videos are these days? They could be over there, they could be here. The like button could be gone.
Jesus, where's the like button gone? What?
Wait, there it is, replaced with a Facebook-style thumbs up.
As a tiny man who lives in a computer screen, I'm not alright with this.
Yeah.
Wait, it's over here now.
Is it?
I don't know.
We don't actually know
Depends
what
if
the
the
fuck
video gets flipped in post.
Yeah. Let's do.
Why would they do that?
Oh, it's over here now.
I have writing on my shirt. Okay, well, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode, for the love of Christ. Pete, new guy, you did alright.
Thank you.
You did alright.
I'm having fun.
Now
Two thumbs up.
Tell them about the Facebook.
Now, don't forget that you can check out the Kilobits on Facebook at facebook.com/thekilobits.
And you can find us on Twitter at twitter.com/thekilobits, or even at the Kilobits,
And,
either one.
Arbitrarily, you can find us on YouTube. YouTube.com/right the fuck here.
I think I'm having a migraine.
It's okay.
Bye.